First, I'm going to set the table, so to speak. First of all, let me begin with this. How many of you know that everyone around the world was interested in these 4 blood moons that I discovered, talked about? A lot of people wrote about it, and a lot of people said things that I never said, and people were saying that I was saying that. But what I've always said, and I still very much hold to, is these were signs in the heavens warning mankind of something that was coming soon, all right? Now, let me show you this. The moon's orbit around the Earth is elliptical, okay? It's like it's egg-shaped, so to speak. When the moon, let me go to my little diagram right here. Okay, do you see the moon right here? Okay, there's the moon. Its orbit is elliptical, going around. Now, sometimes when it goes around, it's not always the same amount of distance. It might be like this the next time. So sometimes it's close, sometimes it's far away. When the Earth is or the moon is at its furthest point from Earth, it's called the apogee, long ways away. When it's at its closest point to Earth, it's called perigee. Okay, everyone got that? Okay. Now, whenever you see the sun, the earth, and the moon in a straight line, it becomes a great Scrabble word. Syzygy, okay? Now, but if you go back and look here, you know, the moon is over here. Here's the sun, we're saying, right in here, glowing this way. The moon is here. The Earth is here. It's not in syzygy. It's not in direct alignment. You know, when the moon is in direct alignment between the Earth and the sun, we get an eclipse, right? Okay. Now, we are about to see a record-breaking supermoon. It's the biggest in nearly 70 years. Now, the moon looks real big if it's seen just over the horizon. If it's real high in the sky, it doesn't look like a big supermoon because it's so high in the sky. So the best time to see a supermoon and it looks really big is if you're up when it just crests the horizon. Now, how many of you know the number 70 is very significant? Well, here's a news article. Well, first, let me tell you this. Normally, scientifically, you only get like 1 supermoon every year in a couple of months. It so happens this year we have 3 supermoons in a row. There's one in October, there's one in November, and there's one in December. But the one in November is the super duper moon. Okay? What is meant by a supermoon? A supermoon is when it is a full moon, okay? And it's at its closest point to Earth. If it's a full moon and it's at apogee, if it's far away, that doesn't make as much of a difference if it's at perigee. If it's at its closest point to Earth and it's a full moon, now it looks really big because it's closer, right? Okay. We have 3 full moons in a row that all appear at apogee. But this one in November is special. Okay, what do we find? First off, it's the same night we have Ari Abramowitz. Now, supposedly, because we're going on daylight savings time, according to science data, the sunset is going to be here in Seattle about 4:30 in the afternoon, and the moon rises at 5:18. So here in Seattle, if it's not cloudy, that's a big if, you'll be able to take a picture of this super moon coming up over the horizon an hour before we meet with Ari Abramowitz. Okay, now here's a newspaper article, I believe. It says, we're about to see a record-breaking supermoon, the biggest, like I said, in nearly how many years? It's the closest full moon in this century. Now look at this next paragraph. If you only see one astronomical event this year, make it the November supermoon, when the moon will be the closest to its Earth since it's been, it says January what year? Wow! 70 years, right before Israel becomes a nation. Here we have these 3 super moons in a row. All right, the biggest one is just in a week and a half on Monday night, November 14th. It says here at the bottom that it won't happen again until November of 2034. Okay? So I just wanted to point out that you have 3 supermoons in a row, with the biggest one happening this next week, right before the flood takes place, biblically. Okay. Now here's just I am not endorsing any presidential candidate here, but I'm just stating a fact. The inauguration ceremony for president is on January 20th of 2017. It is every year, with the celebration to follow. The next president, whoever that may be, their first full day in office will be the following day, January 21st, 2017. Everyone follow me? It just so happens on June 14, 2016, Donald Trump turned 70 years old. So on January 14th, Donald Trump will be 70 years and 7 months old and 7 days on the inauguration day. Now, I just think that's fact. This is a fact. Donald Trump will be 70 years old, 7 months and 7 days old, his first day in office. Now, I'm not endorsing a candidate. I am just telling you that this is fascinating. This kind of stuff fascinates me. Now, here's the next thing. The number 7, as you know, is very significant. In Hebrew, the 7th letter is Zayin, and it means a weapon. Okay? It even looks like a weapon. You can see the little white Zayin within the handle of the axe. So here's what's fascinating. Here, the word zamar, the first letter of the word to sing is zamar in Psalms 9:11. The Zion also represents to prune, Leviticus 25:3. Now this year in Hebrew is 5777. 777. Okay? Now, what you realize, what Hebrew letter is the 7th letter? Zayin. 777. The first digit is 5. Okay? And the 5 means, hey, to behold. So here, this year means to behold, weapon, weapon, weapon. Warfare, warfare, warfare. The last time, 70 years ago, we had this big supermoon was before Israel went to war. In 1948, 70 years ago. Now, what's fascinating, there's an anomaly in Hebrew, as many of you that have been around know, that there are letters that are big, there are letters that are small, letters that are upside down and backwards that do not get translated into English. Well, one of the places where the Zayin is really big, the only time it appears really big, is in Malachi 4 and 5, and it's the word zikron or zikru here, to remember. It's the word to remember. And what are we supposed to remember? The Torah of Moses. Okay, and this has to do with, behold, I send you Elijah the prophet. Now, the word Zion refers to warfare, as I said, or it's a weapon. What this is telling us, the greatest weapon we have in the last days is to remember the Torah of Moses. This is why the devil doesn't want us to have anything to do with it, because in the times we're about to enter, it is our greatest weapon that we have. There's more. Remember the 7 spirits of God. Okay, Isaiah 11:2 talks about the 7 spirits of God. What do we know from 2 Corinthians 10:4? The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, through the pulling down of strongholds, right? We're to have involved in spiritual warfare, correct? So one of the things I think we need to realize, with the fact that this coming year that we're in right now is 5777, which all represent Zayins and weapons and weapons and weapons, it also means to sing, it also means to prune. What God is telling us, this is the year that God is going to do a lot of pruning in the church. It's pruning time. But our warfare is to sing the Psalms. Okay, we need to be concentrating and remembering the Torah of Moses and praising Him. Now, in case you didn't know, in your Torah scrolls and the like, there's these little toggins that are over certain letters. Okay, so these are the. How many of you ever seen those in Torah scrolls? What the sages say is each one of those are actually little Zions or weapons, spiritual weapons. Okay? Now, how many of you know Psalms 91? How many of you know it's a warfare psalm? Is Psalms 91 a warfare psalm? You guys know this, right? Nowhere in the entire psalm is there a letter Zion. And so people would say, well, wait a minute. If that is a warfare psalm, why are there no Zions in it? Guess what? Do you see on, I don't know if you could really see on this, those little toggans? See the little toggans? Here, let me use my little color here. Do you see how the little three, there we go. Do you see this one has the toggans on it? You can see this one has it on it, this one has it on it, this one has it on it, this one, this one, this one. Okay, this is verse 12 of Psalm 91, and it has 7 letters, a total of 23 Zions on top doing spiritual warfare. In Psalms 91, it has more of these letters with the toggans implying a spiritual battle that is going on in the heavenlies. And so, let me go back. So basically, when we recite Psalms 91, the Zions function as spiritual weapons. Okay, we have 777 this year, I believe, is going to be the year of warfare. Not only could be physical warfare. Again, the last time this moon happened was right before Israel became a nation and went to war. So what we need to do is protect ourselves, right? Physically, spiritually. And how many of you sometimes get fed up with the devil and you just want to crush him? I think the church has been battered, and I think it's time for us to get mad. I think it's time to get mad, and we need to realize we need to do spiritual warfare. And because of all these Zions that is in Psalm 91, like I said, whenever you recite it, these Zions are functioning as spiritual weapons that you are fighting with. So with that said, let's stand and let's pray Psalms 91, and pray it every day. I'm telling you, pray Psalm 91 every day. This is going to be your spiritual warfare for protection this year. So together, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. For He will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers. Under His wings you will take refuge. His faithfulness is your shield and rampart. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked, because you have made the Lord your refuge and the Most High your dwelling place. No evil shall happen to you, neither shall any plague come near your dwelling. For He will put His angels in charge of you to guard you in all your ways. They will bear you up in their hands so that you won't dash your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the young lion and the serpent underfoot. Because He has set His love on me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. I will satisfy him with long life and show him my Yeshua. Amen.